Hey everyone, this is Pastor Joe, and welcome to the Read the Book Project. We're starting 2020 off by reading through the books of Ezra and Nehemiah. Now, these two books were actually originally one book in the original Hebrew Bible, and they were meant to be read together because they tell one story. They tell the story of the rebuilding, the restoration of Jerusalem and of God's people after the Babylonian exile. And these two books do that through a couple different ways. One, they use the memoirs or the journals of two main characters, the two that the books are named after, a priest named Ezra and a royal official named Nehemiah. But they also use a lot of supporting historical evidence. They use letters that were written and archived. They use lists that were kept in the registries and some other things to kind of piece together this picture of exactly what was going on. The books are broken up into really 5 main sections. Ezra 1 through 6 is a history of the building of the Second Temple. Ezra 7 through 10 are the journals of Ezra, and they really focus not on the temple, but they focus on the restoration of the religious community in Jerusalem. Then Nehemiah picks up, and the first 7 chapters of Nehemiah are really Nehemiah's journals. They're his memoirs of the rebuilding of Jerusalem and its walls. Nehemiah 8 through 10 are really the apex of the story, and it's the renewal of the covenant between Yahweh and the people of Judah. And then finally, in Nehemiah 12 and 13, we get a final section of journals that really tell the story of the final reforms, the final things that Nehemiah had to set into place. As you read through these two books, I want to give you just a few pieces of advice, few things to look for as you read. The first is this. I want you to look for a serious concern on the behalf of the author for a pure faith. In other words, that the author is really concerned with what does it mean to really be the people of God and what does it mean to follow God. Secondly, I want you to look for an emphasis on the national identity of Israel. And we see that not only in Ezra's writings, but you're also going to notice it with its emphasis on the walls in Jerusalem. Because in the ancient Near East, walls weren't just meant to keep people out, but walls are really also meant to give an identity to a place and to a people. And walls had a very large symbolic nature in that. Finally, I want you to look and to notice how God uses the pagan kings of Babylon and Persia to accomplish his sovereign will. Now look, this isn't a model for us to follow yet. In an increasingly post-Christian culture, it is a really important lesson. It's a really important reminder that our God is sovereign and that he can use anyone and anything towards his own purposes and plan. I hope you'll enjoy reading these two books. After these two, we're also going to read the book of Esther, which takes place in the same period of Israel's history, but we'll be back with a few things for you to notice in Esther as well. But thank you for joining us on this journey to read the book. If you want to know more, you can go to www.starfieldcommunitychurch.org/read the book, or you can follow the link that goes with this post and this video and download the reading plan for yourself. Love you, church family. I'll see you Sunday.